right. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Pierce the Canvas podcast. Here we are with our first edition of the year. Today's January 6th, 2021. And we started off the new year with some pretty freaking awesome wrestling show here, AEW Dynamite. Not to take too much away from like the other guys, NXT. I saw the card that they had set up for tonight. I'll definitely be watching that show later on too. It's a great night for two great wrestling shows. A great Wednesday night here, and yeah, again, I just want to wish everybody a happy New Year. I hope again that we're kind of on the way up. After the kind of the crazy year that we had throughout 2020. So just all the best to everybody. Wish you a happy New Year. And yeah, without further ado, I'll get into the show. So it was New Year's Smash Night 1. There will be Night 2 next week for AEW Dynamite. Tonight was particularly special because we had Snoop Dogg come by. A couple other things. We had Jon Moxley return to Dynamite for the first time since losing the AEW title at Winter is Coming. Jericho on commentary, and of course the main event being Rey Fenix versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World title. And oh boy, do we have a lot to get into when it comes to that and everything else. The show started off again, Jericho getting on commentary. We had Young Bucks and SCU versus the Acclaimed in TH2. Acclaimed did a little promo. I didn't. It's just like this is going to be happening every week. I'm not going to write down every single thing they're rapping, but they said they're screwed from being champions. They tell Young Bucks not to be mad when Acclaimed take the title. I may have misheard this, but I swear they like compared themselves to John Cena and said that Young Bucks are the Genettis or something like that. I don't even know. They made fun of Snoop Dogg, just saying he's like old and washed up, or something along the lines of that, just making fun of Snoop Dogg. You never really got any revenge though. And one thing to keep in mind here, again, it's Young Bucks and SCU. SCU being Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. Last week I talked about their little angle on AEW Dark where Kazarian said, hey, listen, next time we lose, it's the last time we're ever going to team up again. And so there's a lot on the line for like every SCU match, right? Because any match could be their last, and we'll see like if this one was. So Nick Jackson, just like early in the match, is flying all over the place. Gets a big dive on the heels ringside. Christopher Daniels tries his Arabian moonsault, stopped by Bowens. Really cool spinning kick after that by Angelico. Leads to a ton of heat on Daniels, including a Phoenix Splash by Jack Evans. Daniels gets a Blue Thunder Bomb, leading to a hot tag. Matt dives on Evans and Caster outside, leading to Risky Business to Bowens for a near fall. And then the BTE trigger on Bowens, again for a near fall. The pin was broken there. Jack Evans attempts a 630 senton, but Nick has knees. That turns into a stereo super kick. Young Bucks are going for the Meltzer driver. Nick gets distracted and swantons a guy outside. Christopher Daniels instead does a moonsault to complete the Meltzer driver, because usually Nick will like flip into the ring and pull down the Tombstone pile driver. They actually had Christopher Daniels do it. He did, I think, a moonsault off like the middle rope and connected the second half of the Meltzer driver, and it was really cool. I dug it. I dug the finish, and that ended the match. So, like I said, there's a lot on the line for every SCU match. They actually got through this victoriously. I don't know. And on the show, there's the Go Big Show TBS show that's coming up. I think it starts tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. There's advertising for the show all over like AEW tonight. Just like the ring apron was like a Go Big Show poster. They had like shots of a monster truck outside of Daly's place, like rolling around with Go Big Show all over it. So, and of course Snoop Dogg's on the show. That's kind of a part of it too, right? Because he's one of the 4 hosts. And next up we had Jon Moxley. Again, like I said, it's the first time since Winter is Coming that he's addressed his loss for the title. And yeah, like what I really liked about this segment is that he actually addressed his losing the title. Everyone hates the comparisons, but like WWE, it's a little too often that like the champion will lose the title and then they'll come back like a month later, and it's kind of like they never lost the championship. They just start a fresh program and don't really go back to it. Not that they always do that, but it happens a lot and has happened. But yeah, here he actually like really addressed having lost the title and how he feels. Said that he's pissed about losing the title, but understands that this is an unforgiving sport. Sometimes all you can do is endure and take it on the chin, plant your feet on the ground, stare at the adversity, and never back down. You know John Moxley. Mox asks, what's next with Kenny and that used car salesman, Don Callis? Mox says he'd normally beat the shit out of Kenny and that asshole, and they do the old, the old wrestling, he swears, and then the bleep or whatever, the censor happens, like, way after he swears. But tonight the title's on the line, Moxley says, so he's not gonna, like, interfere in the match. Moxley says Phoenix has an opportunity he's worked 13 long years for. Mox refuses to interfere, but warns Kenny is not safe, never will be. Mox will get even, and he says, and then some. Moxley says he's the boogeyman and will forever be lurking over his shoulder. Kenny will beg for mercy and realized he crossed the wrong guy. So yeah, like I said, like he fully not only addressed losing the title, but addressed the guy he lost the title to, addressed the fact that it was like a screw job ending. So I really liked all that stuff. And obviously, hey, we're gonna get a Moxley Omega 3. Sounds like I'm talking about like a packet of eggs or something. But yeah, we're gonna get a Moxley Omega 3 probably at Revolution, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. So next we have Dasha with Chuck and Orange Cassidy asking about Trent's injury. He has a torn pec, could be out for 4 to 5 months. Chuck reveals that to us. Oh, hey there, TKO Wrestling. I see you've commented. Hello. And hi right back to you. Thanks for joining the show. If you watched anything tonight, any wrestling, let me know. Let me know. Hey, I didn't watch NXT, so if you saw that, let me know. Anybody else who's checking out the stream, go ahead and comment. Let me know what you thought of the wrestling tonight. So Miro comes out after Chuck gives the update on Trent and says Chuck Taylor has to step up and be a man instead of standing behind his boys. Says that Chuck Taylor should wash his clothes in his car. Chuck challenges Miro to a match next week. Miro proposes that. Again, like, sometimes I just feel like I mishear things, but Miro basically said, like, if I win, you're going to become one of my young boys. And Chuck's like, I accept. So what does that mean? Like, if Miro wins, Chuck Taylor is going to be partners with Miro and Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford? I don't really know, but maybe I misheard. Next up, we had a big boy match. We had Jake Hager versus Wardlow. Of course, over the last several weeks and maybe a couple months, Jake Hager and Wardlow, or actually, ever since Wardlow got into the Inner Circle, I forgot it was within MJF. So they've just been always staring each other down, right? Because they're the two big guys. One wants to be the best out of both of them, so they settle it here in a match. Wardlow says that Hager's got an issue with him having to take care of his family. He says Inner Circle is also his family, but since Hager asked for a fight, he'll give him a war. Cuts that promo before the match. Inner Circle are watching at the stage, and throughout the match, the big guys are just trying to out wrestle each other, ultimately stalemating, just locking up and throwing each other around. But then the other guy will throw the other guy, and then they both clothesline each other ringside and both fall down and stuff. So it was neck and neck at the beginning. Wardlow got a huge power slam on Jake Hager and starts throwing him around with suplexes, leading to a near fall. Wardlow heads up top and lands a swanton for a near fall. Hager locks his head and arm triangle until a rope break. And Wardlow lands his F10 for the win. And man, that was the coolest F10 I've seen. Because, these guys are the same size as each other. Wardlow's a beast. He's probably just a little bit bigger than Jake Hager muscle-wise. But he just picks this guy up and he's struggling. And he's waiting to throw this dude and just finally throws him. And he spins twice in the air. It was really cool F10. So obviously, whoever loses is going to be pissed off. So Hager's pissed as hell. Inner Circle's trying to calm him down, but finally they just fist bump each other. All is well. And then we cut to Private Party, and they're ready for the new year. And we have a problem here. Isaiah Cassidy brought the gin. Mark Quinn messed up, man. He forgot the juice, but worry not. This is the right week to forget the juice, because who do we have other than Snoop Dogg? So Snoop Dogg shows up and he brings in just a bottle of juice. just slams it on top of this whatever stack of boxes or whatever. And then Matt Hardy comes in. There wasn't a whole lot going on with Snoop Dogg, but he was standing there the whole time this was all happening, kind of awkwardly. Matt Hardy comes in, talks about Private Party need to become kings. Matt Hardy will be able to bring that out in them, so he brings out a contract. I believe the stipulation of the contract is that Matt Hardy is taking like 30% of the royalties for the team or something like that. Private Party sign on, and hey, like, you know, that's not too bad. Like, if you're gonna have Matt Hardy just going everywhere with you, he's got to get some kind of cut. So he's gonna take 30%. Private Party agreed to it. Snoop wants to be invited to the private party. He's like, I want to be invited to the private party. He's like kind of dancing a bit. So I guess he got something in. Matt takes the contracts and says that he'll see Private Party at dinner. I thought the actual match was about to happen, but it's just a weigh-in. It's the second weigh-in that we've had in AEW. It's for Brian Cage versus Darby Allin. This is going to be for the AEW TNT Championship, and we will be introducing a new design. In fact, like, I think I might have missed like the first 5 seconds of the segment or something, but it looked like Darby was like carrying a blackened version of the TNT title. Like it looked like it had the same plates and everything, but it was black instead of red. I didn't get a good enough look at it. I definitely could be wrong, but it looked like they may have just like stripped the color off of it, because again, they gave the original belt to -1 of the Dark Order, Brody Lee's son. So I don't know, maybe it's just like a placeholder championship for the week, and next week we'll see the new one. I think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so Tony tells us about the new belt coming next week, and he weighs both guys. Cage has got 272, Darby's got 170. You know, no surprise there. Brian Cage has got over 100 pounds on Darby Allin. I was like kind of thinking, like, why is this even happening? Like, what's the point of this weigh-in at all? Like, we know they're not in the same weight class. Like, whatever. They had to do some kind of segment. Hey, it was cool for what it was. Taz says the weight difference should be greater because Darby's wearing all this stuff. He's, you know, probably put on an extra 5 to 10 pounds. I'll say Taz is maybe making a point there because he's wearing like a jacket. He's wearing all these like chains or whatever. Darby's not having it though. He says, you know what, this match is 27 years in the making because I've been dealing with people like Taz my whole life. He's like, you know, let's just fight. Let's fight right now. Taz kicks Tony Schiavone out of the ring. The lights go out. The heels retreat from the ring. And of course, you know, it's Sting who comes out. So it's Darby and Sting in the ring. And like I said, the heels took off. Taz hates the snow. He's just freaking about the snow. He's sick of Sting and says Cage will win the title next week. Sting and Darby have like a romantic moment, like really close to face moment. And, you know, this is, I think, week 4 now of Sting just standing around and shit. MJF is backstage, and he's like, oh, we got to check on this guy. He's pissed off, man. So he goes into a locker room, and it's Jake Hager, and he's beside himself for having lost to Wardlow. MJF says that no one is half the athlete he is. He should be proud. And Hager says, you know, when you first got here, I kind of wanted you dropped out, or he said something like that. But, you know, you're not too bad, man. And you, like, really sincerely thanked him for, like, checking in on him. Next up, we see the cutest thing ever. It's the AEW Dark segment. It's actually so hilarious because I just happened to go on YouTube Tuesday evening, and I saw Dark was streaming, and I click on it, and like I clicked right on time because it was right when the segment started. And it's -1 again, Brody Lee's son, Brody Lee Jr., cutting a promo on Marco Stunt. Dude, cutting the best promo you could possibly cut as an 8-year-old. Like, he's doing good. Like, basically just saying that Marco Stunt hides behind people bigger than him. And I shit you not, these guys are like the same height. Like, it's like crazy. Like, Marco probably has 4 inches on this kid. Like, you know, he's like, what, 3 times his age? So Marco now is cutting a promo. We cut to Marco. Again, the -1 stuff happened on Dark. This is Marco's response. Says that Jurassic Express are on the quest for the AEW title. FTR just quickly show up and say Marco's worthless and a glorified mascot and lets Jungle Boy do all the dirty work. Jungle Boy says -1 is right and that they're losers. That FTR are losers. I believe that's what he said. Jurassic Express challenges FTR next week. So that's going to be a cool match. I think, is that their second match? I think so. Next up was Matt Sydal versus Cody. And Arn Anderson got a week off because the coach of the match was Snoop Dogg. And he was playing the role of Cody's coach, man. He had like a stack of papers with like the plans on it and everything. It's my robot. Hopefully nobody's watching this so that no one heard that. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Cody comes out and he has the crazy elaborate entrances every week. He's got like flames going and everything going. This time Snoop comes out and they did a remix of Cody's theme song where Snoop has a verse, and it was like so perfect because you couldn't tell until after Cody came out. Like it just sounded like Cody's theme song, but then it just breaks down to like a hip hop beat, and Snoopy's not doing it live, but he recorded a verse for Cody's theme song. It's just the coolest thing ever. And yeah, again, they introduced Snoop Dogg as Cody's coach. And throughout the match, Snoop Dogg was standing on the ramp, just looking like Snoop Dogg. Takes out the papers I was mentioning before. Matt Sydal kicked the hell out of Cody in the head at the beginning of the match. Like, almost looked like, I'm not gonna say a shoot, honestly, because it wasn't, but it was like bad. Lands a big cannonball in the corner, like kicks him in the head again there. Sydal lands a Meteora ringside, kind of hurts his knees a bit. Cody's fighting Matt Sydal ringside, and there's wrestlers surrounding the ringside area. So Cody accidentally strikes Serpentico while brawling with Matt Sydal. He dodges a shot. Cody hits Serpentico. Cody reverses a crossbody into a Scorpion Deathlock, which leads to a rope break. Snoop Dogg is like kind of like I said, he's just on the ramp, just looking cool, but he's not doing a whole lot of selling, like because he's a manager, so he should be like devastated anytime Cody's taking a bump. But he's just making little faces like ooh, like not doing a whole lot. But hey, it's whatever. It's Snoop Dogg, man. It's awesome. Sydal leaps for a shooting star press, but Cody's got knees and does a reverse DDT for a near fall. That's the first time I saw Sydal actually attempt the full motion of the shooting star press. But again, he didn't land it. Hurricanrana from Sydal leads to a near fall. Sydal lands a kick and his lightning spiral, I believe it's called, move for a near fall. Cody lands a crossroads, and I believe it was there's something wrong with the first crossroads. Like I think Sydal was caught in the rope or something like that. So he picked him up and landed another one, and that led to the win. And barely a breath in between, Serpentico and Luther immediately go for the attack. Sydal helps out. He's about to land the shooting star press, and I shit you not, dude, Snoop Dogg landed a splash onto Serpentico. I believe I actually have a screenshot of it here. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I do, but if you just go check out the AEW clip, it's like the best thing ever. Snoop Dogg lands a splash. The guy's like, he's got to be 50 something by now. He did it, man. He just loved it. You could tell he was feeling it afterwards. Chris Jericho's flipping out on commentary. He hates everything. Snoop gives everyone love at the announce desk, and Jericho is just suddenly like giving him love as if he wasn't just talking shit about him. And it was hilarious because as soon as Snoop left, he's like, I still hate this guy. And then we cut to commercial, and that led us to the next match, which was Abaddon versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru immediately takes down Abaddon with a kendo stick, lands a headshot before the match starts. Hikaru walks out with like a gash on her neck because last week or whenever, no, it couldn't have been last week. I guess 2 weeks ago, Abaddon had bit her neck, so it didn't heal after 2 weeks. Shida goes for an apron knee lift. Abaddon bites her leg and whips her into the barricade. Abaddon soon after drags Shida under the ring. The ref goes under to check on everything. Abaddon crawls out with like blood in her mouth and like blood dripping off her chin. Sheeta's nowhere to be seen. We're all thinking she's dead. Abaddon got, sorry, Sheeta eventually crawls out from under the ring and her neck like exploded. She has blood all over her neck. Abaddon lands a middle rope facebuster for a near fall. Sheeta lands an outside splash on Abaddon. Sheeta lands a superplex. Abaddon kind of no sells it, does the Bray Wyatt, like, I'm not going to fucking even try that. Where he, like, does the bridge or whatever the fuck. Sheeta lands a Tamache for the win. A Tamache, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And, yeah, that was that. Whatever. It was just a complete kind of sports entertainment gimmick match. Which, hey, it's fine every now and then. So next week we have Brian Cage versus Darby Allin. We got, again, that's for the TNT title. Miro versus Chuck Taylor. Serena Deeb will face Tay Conti for the NWA Women's World Championship. We get a quick promo from Tay Conti saying that she's going to take the NWA Women's title from Serena Deeb. Anna Jay said that the Dark Order will be there to support her. So I think, honestly, like, Dark Order just still heals, but, like, it's fine, but, I don't necessarily see how they could be baby faces, like, in this situation here. Because, everybody's saying, like, since everything happened... what's up, Cody Stab? I just saw you, you commented there. How's it going, man? You watch any wrestling today? Watch any AEW, any NXT, anything else? Let me know, man. What was I saying? Yeah, so I just think Dark Order is still going to be kind of heels, at least for this match. Like, why does Tay Conti need like 5 people there ringside for her match? Jurassic Express versus FTR we will also see next week. Pac versus Eddie Kingston. Inner Circle will reveal their New Year's resolution. And we will see the debut of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Her waiting room show from AEW Dark will debut on Dynamite next week. So looking forward to that. I'm not sure who the guest is going to be. That leads us to our main event, and this is like the longest before the end of the show I've like seen a main event start. It started like right at 9:30, or like the entrances did. It's usually like 9:40, 9:42 that the main events start. So we knew that we were gonna get a hell of a match. Although actually, now that I think about it, it kind of makes more sense. I'm not gonna say because we'll just talk about it here. So Pac cuts a short promo before the match, says that Ray will be out on his own for the match. He's not going to have his Death Triangle homies with him there. Introduces him as an assassin, next AEW World Champion. And then we get Kenny Omega's legendary entrance where Justin Roberts puts him over for an hour. It's the same thing as the Acclaimed thing I mentioned earlier. I don't want to write the rap verses every week. I'm starting not to want to write down everything Justin Roberts is saying, but if there's anything kind of key, I put it down. He mentioned something about Wrestle Kingdom. I believe how Kenny was always dominant at Wrestle Kingdom. Mentioned something about his involvement in the video game stuff. And something about North Carolina, because he has to say that every week. God knows why. So into the match, Kenny gets a Hurricanrana real early on, and Ray just spike sells it on the top of his head. It was just crazy way to open up the match. A little bit into the match, the announcers mentioned that Kenny Omega's friend, Kota Ibushi, achieved greatness at this past week's Tokyo Dome. So they mentioned Kota Ibushi having won the IWGP World Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship. If anybody here is watching, you're a real wrestling fan, you gotta watch some stuff from Wrestle Kingdom. If you can manage to get access to it, just check out a few matches there. If I can mention another, like Jeff Cobb versus Shingo Takagi was just a fantastic match. We had a crazy Snapdragon from Kenny Omega on the outside. Ray lands a backward spinning headbutt, springboard move, shoots a shotgun dropkick as well to a lightning speed tope on the outside. Ray lands a crazy flipping German suplex for a near fall, lands a diving foot stomp right to the back of Kenny's head, and he laid it in. Kenny landed a crazy V-trigger on Ray Phoenix. Ray just ate that knee, man. But like with hardly a breath between, he gets up and super kicks the shit out of Kenny, and it was awesome. Ray went for a tornado springboard move. Kenny just knees him in the face. Actually, you know what? I think he did miss a little bit on that knee, on that spot, but hey, whatever. Uh, Power bombs him for a near fall. V triggers him again, near fall. Kenny lands another V trigger, tries a one winged angel. I just can't say that for some reason. Ray reverses it into a reverse Rana, and this is where Callis starts providing some distraction on ringside. But Ray doesn't fall for it. He lands a Gamengiri into a springboard cutter, and dude, I was like just a little convinced that the match could have ended there, but it was a near fall. Phoenix lands a Fire Thunder Driver with so he basically carries Kenny into it's like a pile driver kind of position move. He picks him up into position and knees him in the head before landing the pile driver. It was kind of funny, kind of cool. And once again I kind of fell for it. I was like the match might end here, but near fall. We all know Kenny's a belt collector. He's not losing that title anytime soon. Ray heads up top, goes for Eddie's frog splash into knees. Ray Phoenix tried a corner drive. Kenny catches him into a Tiger Driver 98 for a near fall. Ray Phoenix went for a corner dive. I wrote my notes all messed up here. Went for a corner dive, and Kenny caught him into a Tiger Driver 98 again for a near fall. And it was just the smoothest thing I've ever seen. The way Kenny caught this guy, it was crazy. Equal amount of credit to both guys. Kenny picks up for the one winged angel for the win, and Ray's shoulder was kind of up during the pin as well. It was actually really awkward. Like if you're gonna be picky about it, you kind of have the right to. His shoulder was like literally up during the pin, but hey, whatever. Shit happens, man. We got TV time here. We can't we can't redo the spot. So like I mentioned earlier that the main event started at like 9:30, but I'm just now taking in that the reason is because there's a lot more coming after the main event, and so by this point it was like 10:52 or so. So I knew like, oh man, there's gonna be a lot going on. So Don Callis gives us something we didn't pay for. It says that we witnessed the end of Ray's career, and that something terrible is happening backstage. So they cut backstage, and the Butcher and Blade, Kingston and the Bunny are beating up Kenta. Kenta. That's wishful thinking right there. They're beating up Penta. And see, it's not that hard to mess up. Penta and Pac. Try saying that 5 times fast. And so Callis is like taunting Ray Phoenix in the corner, like, we're beating up your brothers. And I swear, like, Ray Phoenix is full on like bawling, crying. Like he was affected by this. Callis says that a one-winged angel into the scrap heap of history is coming for you. So they're about to do something bad to Ray Phoenix. But luckily, John Moxley came out with a barbed wired bat. Wails Kenny Omega in the stomach. Right after that match, he has to take another barbed wire spot. I feel like Kenny just hates like having to be around John Moxley, man. Having to be in all these like barbed wire and all this shit. But guess who comes out after Kenny wails the poor guy with a barbed wire bat? Other than the Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, and I believe he goes by Doc Gallows now, formerly Luke Gallows from WWE and from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And of course, the big thing is that this is Bullet Club, man. The Bullet Club. It's Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers here. Carl Anderson hands the barbed wired bat to Omega. Omega proceeds to beat him with it 6 times on the back. So now babyfaces just try going for the save. They're like, you know what, fuck this, man. These guys aren't even in our company. Why are we going to stand for this? So Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. try to save, but quickly fail. All kinds of babyfaces are trying to save, but get overwhelmed by these guys. Kenny's also utilizing the bat here. Doc Gallows powerbomb to Marco Stunt through a table, and Marco Stunt is just like he's a spot sponge. He'll just take all the spots. So you like whipped him into the table. The Good Brothers hold Moxley for Kenny to wail with the bat. Kenny says Moxley made him flip the switch. Moxley gets a quick shot on Anderson. You like actually punched him in the face like kind of hard, but they overwhelm him again, continue beating the shit out of him. And guess who comes out next? It's not that hard to guess. Again, I mentioned Bullet Club, so who could it be other than the Young Bucks? So they come back, they come out and take the bat from Kenny, and they throw the bat away. And they're like, the baby faces are now like, okay, we have a chance now that the Young Bucks are here to take out these guys. So Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. come back and hold Kenny on the ropes, but Matt and Nick kick him in the face, kick both the guys in the face, stereo super kick. Kenny puts up the horns, the Devil's horns. The Good Brothers put up the Devil's horns. Young Bucks are like, oh shit. Are we gonna turn halfway heel again? They're like, fuck it. And they go for it, man. So here we go. It's the official Young Bucks or Bullet Club reunion here. This is really happening. So, yeah, really massive closer to the show. I absolutely loved it for the most part. I wasn't a big fan of the women's title match again. Just not my kind of thing. The kind of over the top bullshit. But I'm really looking forward to next week. We got a lot of big matches. I always love Serena Deeb matches, so I'm going to love seeing her wrestle Tay Conti, who's also great with the judo background and everything. We also have the Darby Allin Brian Cage main event as well, which is going to be great. This week is probably going to be hard to top, but we'll be back next week to see what happens. We'll be here to cover the show. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching the show. Take care. Tune in next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, again, we'll be back next week for Near Smash Night 2. Take care, everyone.